So today I'm up at the RAF Museum Midlands, which was formerly known as RAF Cosford, and I'm visiting, well, you all know that the Chinook is the aircraft that's closest to my heart, but this particular Chinook especially is the one that is closest to my heart. And this, of course, is the very famous Bravo November, which is the only Chinook that made it out of the Falklands campaign in one piece. Now, I'm joined today by Tom Hopkins, who works here at the museum and has been one of the team that's been instrumental in getting this brilliant aircraft up here. So I'm going to hand over to you, Tom, if you could just explain to everyone what you do up here, and then we'll go and talk a little bit about Bravo November.
Thanks, Liz. So I'm Tom Hopkins. I'm a curator of aircraft and exhibits here at the RAF Museum Midlands. So I look after all the larger 3D objects, including the great big things like this helicopter here.
And it is large.
It is very large, yeah. 100-foot span from the rotor blade to rotor blade, nearly 19 feet tall. It's a beast, but really exciting to have it here. It's got such presence in the hangars. Yeah. And of course, it's not just a Chinook in general that makes it special. This is Bravo November. This is the Survivor. Such a long and fantastic history. So
if you could tell us a little bit about it. Obviously, I just alluded to the fact that it's the one that came back from the Falklands. So if you could just tell anyone who doesn't know the story of Bravo November, watching at home, just a little bit more about it.
Yeah, sure. So it all goes back to the Falklands conflict, 1982. Bravo November was one of 5 Chinooks loaded up onto the Atlantic conveyor, prepared for the long voyage down to the South Atlantic. One of the others took off and was doing stuff on Ascension Island, halfway there. Then the Atlantic conveyor continued its journey, now with just 4 Chinooks. Bravo November took off, was doing a job at the time when the Atlantic conveyor was struck by 2 Exocet missiles. And unfortunately, the explosion and resulting fire severely damaged the ship, sank a few days later. Bravo November, of course, was airborne at this time, away flying on a job, but the other 3 Chinooks sank along with Bravo November.
I never made it out alive. So has the aircraft got a nickname, hasn't it, from that event?
The Survivor. It was the only British heavy lift helicopter left in the theatre. Yeah.
And then it went on to do many other things after that. So obviously it's most famous for surviving the Falklands, which is really special this year because it's obviously the 40th anniversary of the Falklands. So what a great year to have it arrive at the museum. And I'm sure there's lots of people who'll be coming to have a look around it, and it'll be evoking lots of memories with those individuals. But it has gone on to make some other stories as well, hasn't it, since the Falklands?
Yeah, it's had a fantastically long career. I mean, 40 years. What an airframe.
So knowing that I was coming to look at Bravo November today, I thought it'd be a good chance to take out my logbook and see how many times I've flown on her and what interesting stories I've got of Bravo November. And one of the things that threw up was that my very first ever Chinook flight in 2003 was on board this very aircraft, and it was CL6 Chinook Famil at RAF Odeon. And in a lovely twist of fate, I discovered that my last ever Chinook flight in February 2018, some 3,000 flying hours later, deployments and exercises all around the world, but my last flight ever was again on Bravo November. As if that wasn't enough, the final icing on the cake is that was down in the Falklands, moving an undersung load of a Land Rover across to Byron landing site, and that is what Bravo November did best, was underslinging things around the Falklands. So what a lovely end to a really great aircraft story, and a really great career story for me. This aircraft will always be very, very, very special and close to my heart. Thank you for looking after her, Tom. Make sure you do a good job. And please don't dust her, because I think she likes a little bit of dust. I think she suits a little bit of dust. But if you want to come and see Bravo November, she's available for the public to walk around the edge, and will possibly be opened up for special events only. So keep an eye on the museum website for that.